Well, hello everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I timed that intro there so that, you know, we'd scheduled today's episode to start at 1:15, and I timed that whole intro there, so bang, right as it landed, here we are. Hello everyone. That way we get to watch the full login screen guilt-free. So yeah, starting a little bit later in the evening tonight. I was very, very close to doing this yesterday, but it was late. And then today, it's late, but I figured, no, we've got to record. Currently, it is Thursday. Yesterday, they announced the next 3 Elite specs, and tomorrow they'll be doing another stream. So really, this is the last day that, that I could do this. Man, there's a surprising amount of collision on this wall, actually. Jeez. So yeah, I wanted to get in. I have not read the blog post. Same standard fare as what we did last week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through it, I'm going to read it, see what we think, and basically have some fun. And I'll spin that off into a full video. This is sort of the live stream edition, where I'm also going to talk a bit about their showcase, like their gameplay showcase from Friday last week. So I did say to you guys I wanted to do a video on that. I was there in chat on the day. I'm always a little bit This is going to sound like a humble brag or something. It's not. I'm always a little bit leery typing in chat too much, because then people go, oh, WP, blah, blah, blah. And I don't sort of want to get too distracted staring at chat. I just want to see what the show's about. So basically, they revealed, like, in depth how the Guardian's going to play, or I should say the Luminary, which the #1 feedback, by the way, of that at this point, the #1 feedback is that people don't like the icon. Because it's clearly like the Bastion icon, but now it's all about like this lamp, this lantern, right? So people are saying, you know, the icon should be a lantern. Also, it looks kind of bad in game. It's just kind of a big, you know, blob in game. So yeah, they sort of did a gameplay run through of that. They did a gameplay run through of Christ, what else did they do last week? The Troubadour, the Mesmer, and then they also did. Hold on, I can get there. I can get there. We just have to do it via process of elimination. It's not the 3 this week. Oh, the Gale Shot, which was actually my favourite of the 3. It was the favorite of the 3 in the video I did last week, just based on the blog post. And in gameplay as well, I think it looks the snappiest. It looks like it has the best flow. It looks very simplistic, too. A nice little win for me is it's another quickness spec. So, like, as far as so my most of my gameplay now, I don't PvP. I only sometimes dip into World versus World. I'm not doing too much raiding, though. We might be setting up something for this year's LM. You know, I'll occasionally do fractals, but the vast majority of what I do is achievement hunting in the open world, doing all the story stuff, and so on and so on. When this new expansion comes out, that's going to be the majority of what I do as well. And in all of those situations, the bulk of my gameplay, I like to play quickness builds. Quickness builds just feel so much better than any other variant. And so, like, if the spec doesn't have its own quickness on it, it immediately goes way down in my estimation. When they revealed that elite specs were coming back this year, you know, I gave you guys some of my misgivings, and I said, you know, it sounds exciting, but we've had so many of them now, and when I look at my gameplay, I still spend a huge amount of my time, say, like, on Herald, right? And it's like, how many of these am I going to actually apply? You know, I look at a lot of the secretly obscure weapons, I look at a lot of the Janthir weapons, wild spear stuff, and the spears were excellent, but, like, how many am I really utilizing? Even as someone who tries to multi-class, I know the irony is on all these streams I'm just on lists, but I'm mostly only on lists because of our little video overlay there. You know, there's still so much untapped. So I hear about 9 more elite specializations, and it's like, how many am I really going to use? Well, Gale Shot has its own quickness. I think it's very, very, very likely I will. Like, when Janthir Wilds came out, you know, I tried Ranger Spear. It was pretty underwhelming in the end, wasn't it? My opening Let's Play on Janthir Wilds was Ranger with Spear. But this year, Ranger's looking like a big winner to me as well. Not that the devs really hyped it up. I actually kind of got... So here, we'll do a little section here. I want to talk about that stream. They did their section on the Gale Shot, and it was very obligatory. They were just... It was... I think the Gale Shot was the last one they did. They were just kind of going through the motions. Now, I get it to a certain extent. It's kind of just... All right, you have a third bow. Cool, you press some buttons, you go back or whatever. But, God, I'm not going to mince words here. That stream was shit. That stream was shit. I was already a little bit iffy on whether I was going to, like, cover it, because I don't really believe in just wholesale restreaming what they've done, but with my fucking voice over the top. And then, so what are my observations from that stream? Basically, oh, this looks interesting. It could be broken. This looks interesting. It could be fun. But I have to get in there and play it to feel it, right? A lot of the excitement of a new elite spec is actually that initial playthrough where you're slowly unlocking the new toys and just playing around with them as you go. How it all settles down in the balance at the end and how that swings with subsequent balance patches is kind of really boring to me, really. So I'm not sure I really have any great commentary. I can say the same thing that people over and over and over have said, like with the Troubadour, right? With the crazy... like support capabilities that you can get from it, particularly with the elite, right? If there's any such thing as a damaged Troubadour, you could easily stack 3 of those, alternate them, eat a fuck ton of mechanics. It's going to be broken. They can change Distort to Blur. They can change the Blur into Aegis and Stab. They can keep shrinking it down, and that's a path that will probably end up going down. But you know, what kind of an insight is that, really? I don't know. I just didn't feel it was dedicated, worthy of a dedicated video. You know, so many of those traits and things, it's like I've got to get there and feel. But I'll tell you what, Arenanet did not do themselves any favors with that stream. So, like, first of all, if I was doing a stream, what blows my mind, right, is these are content creators. They hire content creators. They hire people who made, at some point, streams, who made, at some point, videos. And they're now getting paid salaries to do it. You get a fucking salary! They could have done a much better job. So, like, for example, with this thing of I don't really know how it feels, where they go through the traits, right? To my mind, if I'm introducing... this could be me just being picky here, right? If I'm introducing you to air as a specialization, I think it's quite right to go over the first minor or acknowledge it's there because, you know, it shows you the mechanics of the line. Obviously, this is a core line, not an elite line, but whatever, right? It's quite right to talk about the next 2 minors. They are always passive. a captive audience is going to hear those and know that they're always on, right? So it's very easy to get your head around those. And usually these are just minor modifications to the first minor. They're fake when it comes to elite specs. They don't even really do it. You know, it could just be packaged in with the first one, but for the flavor reason or whatever. Because again, the game doesn't really care about that small, narrow window where we're progressing and slowly getting more powerful. And other people will just run previous elite specs anyway during that period of time, or just spend their over 400 pre-existing ones. So you're going to skip the acquisition of these two anyway, and any gameplay impact you might have as they unlock. But whatever, right? So it's quite right, and I think Arenanet did a good job there to talk about that. Where would you go next, dear viewer? You're trying to teach someone about air. To me, to my mind, the obvious way to go is to talk about each line. To say, okay, you can take this top trait, you can get Zephyr's Boon, and talk about what Zephyr's Boon is. You can grab Inscription, and you can grab Bolt to the Heart. And if it's a well-made elite spec, these three are synergistic ideas. They sort of revolve around one pattern. This is the QOL line. This is the heal supporty line. This is the Condi line. This is the flat damage. You get what I mean, right? Like, there's sort of a sense to them. No, not always. That doesn't always have to be the case. But for the viewer, what they're now reading, what they're hearing about is 3 traits in a row. And it's very easy in your mind to understand, I get all of these. They're all mine. I can run them all together. You can build a sense of what it might feel like because you're getting all the information at once. You're getting the minor, you're getting the next minor, you're getting the next minor, you're getting all of these. You have a complete sense as a viewer of how that line works. Now the devs say, okay, well, so that was one line. Let's check out what the next line is. Quick reminder of these minors. Okay, and now we'll talk about this, and we'll talk about this, and we'll talk about this. So that's your second line, and then we'll talk about this, talk about this, talk about this. That's your third line. You would come out of that with a pretty good understanding, even for the layman, of what the spec is, the 3 different ways to build the spec. In the event that it's one of those specs where you can mix around all over the place, and they like the idea of you mixing around on the place, which is valid always, you know, players can do that additional speculation on their end later. But at least we have something coherent, right? But what they were doing was they were saying, okay, let's talk about this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, and it's just a mess. It's like, and I know I've spun this into a big rant here, right? Probably too much time talked about a minor thing, but it's like it's a very obvious, like very, very baseline thing I think that you do. So, for example, on the Gale shot, right, in the middle line, they had 2 pet-relating traits. I believe I'm right about this. One of the traits you can take is that your pet will gather you feathers on pet swap, which is a really cool idea visually, right? Like, I can imagine when you pet swap, the pet appears at your heels, so you can imagine that it's got the feather somehow and it's given to you, and then it runs off back into the fight and you pet swap and it's next to you. Like, that idea of it fetching feathers visually works really, really well. There's also another trait, another pet. What was the other pet trait? Oh, the bird buff trait. So you get all this extra value out of running birds. But you can't run them together because they're opposed to one another. Now that to me is an important distinction. You might imagine Gale Shot as a build where it has like a pet line. So you can run birds together and the birds collect feathers. So when I pet swap, I pluck a feather off the bird because it's a bird. It has feathers. That's a really cool, like, coherent thing, and you might think that that's how Gale Shot's designed, but it's not designed like that. But was there any commentary about any of that? Did the devs even illustrate what was fun, like, visually, like, you know, thematically about that trait? No, they just kind of fucking... They bombed through it in a terrible order. There was no, like, fanfare or excitement. The visuals were dog shit for the stream. Why are they still in the End of Dragons arena area? Why? So it's somewhere in the new expansion. So there's a little, you know, put it on a beach or something. In the trailers, we can see that they're on the beach or whatever. Like, and I get it. It's a bit more effort to set that up. But please, why are we reusing the End of Dragons arena? And the golems that they have set up there are not very good. The stats that they have, it's not exciting to watch these elite specs use their buttons to do fucking 1k damage on a non-crit over and over and over and over again. Like, that's, like, they did such a bad job in it. The commentary was shit. The fucking production quality was shit. That stream opened with the first 15 minutes. One of the guys was using his webcam mic instead of the actual, you know, what, I don't know what it is actually. I guess he has he was wearing a headset, right? I can't quite remember. The volumes were all over the place. Oh. I get it, they're working from home, right? And, you know, fair enough. The background, like, they had, like, this horrible blur on the cameras. Look, I don't know. So the client was set up badly as well. Like, I understand that you're going to go in-game and you're not on your own client. I get it. They're not your own keybinds. I know how it feels. That it's not, none of it's set up. But take a minute. I mean, if not necessarily the people driving the show, take a minute to check. So you know what they should have turned off? They should have turned off Bloom. I get it. Bloom is a part of the game, right? But it's also a setting that allows you to turn it off. Not half, nearly all of the animations on that stream were a washed out, blurry mess. Like, they're showing off the luminary. All you see is, like, just blue fuzz everywhere. You don't get a good look at the lantern. You don't get a good look at any of the animations, really. It was just like... Also, didn't they stream in, like, 720p? Wasn't it like a 720-30 stream? Like, what the fuck is that? They did a setup where they... I think what they went for is they had one driver and one communicator. So you have a guy talking while the other guy slowly mouses around the traits, which created all these, like, weird disconnects where a guy will say a trait name and then they'll mouse over it. It did not make it smoother. Like, and again, like, what the... Like, it's not... I know all I'm doing is running in circles while ranting right now, but this is, like, unprepared, off the cuff or whatever. With a tiny bit of preparation. You know, I do Let's Plays, right? These people have histories and backgrounds talking while playing. Like, I get it when you get just a random guy off the street, right? Or someone who didn't grow up in the early 2000s, 90s. They were already in their 30s, 40s before the internet and all this shit came in. Those people tend to struggle playing and talking, right? And I'm not one to talk. I can often struggle too. But it's not that hard. And the show would be much, much, much better if one person had complete control. And, you know, just the other person could be color commentary. Just dip in every now and then. Just say, you know, just round out a bit of information. Provide a small correction here or there. Just the entire show they did was terrible. And I'd cut them a little bit of slack. If it wasn't for knowing their backgrounds and knowing they're being paid for that work. And on top of that, all right, think about where Guild Wars came from, all right? I don't know how many of you guys in this chat were around during Season 2 and during Heart of Thorns, and even after Heart of Thorns, right? Look at the quality of the shows we used to get, right? When they used to do Points of Interest or before, all right? Now, I know not everyone was a fan of the talent that was on screen. I know that they were pretty corporate. I know that they were pretty dorky. I know they didn't really cultivate a real community vibe. I know they didn't really look the community in the eye. I knew that there was like a lot of curtain twitchy, weird sort of... Like, the vibe was wrong a lot of the time. But there was production value there, at least. Like, I remember very distinctly what we came from there. And then we just had the most shoddy, amateur, fucking... These are the elite specs. This is like the thing people are most excited about for the X-Pack. Most people. I know I can't put words in everyone's mouth, but this is a big deal. And we got that shit. Honestly. Right, like, I know I've had my fair share of problems. I'm not... Okay, so anyway, so I didn't think it was a good show. If I was there on the Gale shot, I'd zoom the camera in sometimes. They never fucking zoom the camera in. No one wants to watch this. No one wants to watch a 720p blurry mess. Bloomed out the ass, looking at the animations a mile away. No one wants to see that. Zoom in, show me the lantern, you know? Show me the instruments. Let me hear the sound effects on the troubadour. Surely that's a big thing. There was just no... Oh, man. So, I don't know. Look, I'm criticizing Arenanet here for not giving these people, as a studio, as a company, not giving them the time, the space, the freedom to put on a good show. So, yeah, all I could think as I was watching it was, okay, cool. I'm like, what is this weird shit where they're mousing over trait tooltips so that the community can take low-res screenshots to later post onto Reddit? Like, what level of communication is that? Sorry, but there should be a fucking bank of proper screenshots ready to go, produced immediately in tandem with that live stream or after. I don't think I'm being too mean. Am I being too mean? I don't know. I don't know why I'm ranting so much. I used to really care about growing this game. I used to really, really care about this community. I used to care so much about every little thing. Like, get it right. I'm not really that person anymore. So I don't know why I'm this angry about it. Maybe it's jealousy. Maybe there's a little whiff of jealousy in there. Maybe it's that a little bit. So we'll see what they do next Friday. Join me tomorrow, guys, in Twitch chat. We'll see what level of production we have. And no, so in chat, Crunkler says, "No wonder people are going to WoW. The quality right now is so bad. It feels like a long April Fool's joke." It's like it's not. What's upsetting about it is it's not even about the quality of the game. The elite specs might be great. And you know, it wasn't terrible. All right, we get a sense of the elite specs, and that's all it was trying to be, I guess. But try to be more, man. Try to be more. So it's just, you know, the elite specs could be good, and then you put on a show that doesn't captivate or excite people about them. It's just the level of enthusiasm on their end felt so... But did you guys not make these things? Are you not excited about what you've made? So anyway, so I didn't feel the need to do a video because it would just be me bitching. So you get me bitching as a part of a live stream here. And look at this higher quality content I'm putting on for you guys. Look at this epic login stream. That I totally had absolutely no hand in making whatsoever. And can't claim any credit for. Mr. Modius, genius. All right, okay, so there you go. So that's a little intro there. WP shakes fist at Cloud. Moving on. Let's recenter ourselves. Let's go to our happy place. We are going to be looking at the new stuff. And I'm going to throw an intro up. I'm going to spin this next bit into a VOD. I don't know how long it will take. Let me drink a little bit of coffee here. Actually, let me try and respond to some of you guys in chat here. WP, will you pay my tuition to art college, please? I'll tell you what, you get me some money for a tuition first. The audio wasn't working? I mean, on the Troubadour section, there was audio. Because I remembered thinking that the Troubadour... They didn't highlight any of the bits that would probably sound good. But what I could hear is all the generic pink shockwaves hitting enemies. And it sounded just like a mess. So that wasn't really a stream problem. I think the Troubadour, the sound effects from the impact strikes of the projectiles, I think that's going to overwhelm any kind of fun sounds we'd otherwise have, which is a shame. But it's fitting it's on Mesmer, you know, the class of Mesmer Greatsword Auto, plaguing our ears. I mean, not so much these days, because there's more weapons and specs and things that people like to play. But I'm sure we will fondly remember that. Hit up a Mirage, play it with Infinite Horizon. Good tagging, though. What about the SSD fund I generously got? Yeah, that definitely compares to a university tuition. Yeah, that was actually that's a good point. That's another thing. I was really one of the reasons I'm doing this today instead of earlier. You know, right when it came out yesterday, is I was a bit nervous that the trailer would stop bugging and breaking, because that ruined the video last time. And talking about professionalism, it's a bit rich for me to go up bitch and then do a shitty thing of mine, and I didn't have the SSD yet. However, what I realized is it's because the tool I used to download the trailer downloaded it at 4K. So OBS, it could have been a hard drive thing, actually. It was probably a bit of both. It was just a lot of data. What I've done now is I've re-encoded it with Handbrake down to 1080. You guys won't see the difference, really, at all. But it will be much smoother, much snappier. I have tested that. I have fixed that. So we don't actually need the SSD to improve our trailer watching experience today. So, you know, a little bit of prep. That's all it took. I'm going to say that, and it's going to start breaking. Oh, God. It's going to break. WP, if you're mad about last week, sit down before you watch this week's trailer, please. Well, hold on. No. I liked everything I saw last week in the blog post and the trailer. I was fine with that. I just think they did I think they did a less than stellar job on their journey. There you go. I'll be very corporate about it. With producing live footage on Twitch. Oh god, we're getting some criticisms of the Antiquary here. Uh-oh. Sorry, I'll tell you, talking and playing is not too hard, but talking and reading chat is a whole other level. It's like trying to code while someone's talking to you. It's just, or any kind of typing, any kind of script or essay or anything. If someone, it's like having two conversations at once. It's almost impossible. I still don't know whether I should really be salvaging those steak and winterberry consumables with this research kit. I really don't know. You see all this stuff, right? This is junk that comes from the home instance. Rose quartz you have to deal with. Exquisite serpentine jewels you have to deal with. Random Winter's Day shit because you get the presents you have to deal with and it's not all salvageable. The crests, I'm so close to just putting on the bottom row somewhere. It's just there's a lot of tedious, like, kind of annoying stuff. These baubles are weird as well because I can gather the baubles all year from my home instance. And you get, you know, maybe a couple of stacks. And then you do, like, one super adventure run and you get, like, 3 bauble bubbles. So, like, the entire year of gathering from that bauble generator just means nothing. I mean, really. At least it's free and quick and easy now and might proc my glyph. I also realized, you know what I realized recently? I've been consuming basic luck, fine luck. I've been consuming this just to get rid of it because the idea of crafting it up is just tedious. It's just annoying. It's tedious. But I did it in the understanding that my luck value down here, 472,510, that was going up. Like, it would say 600,000 out of 472,000. Like, it doesn't give me any benefit, but it does keep incrementing, at least. You know, much like Agent of Entropy, right? Like, I've completed this 1,584 times. It's just fun to see a number go up, isn't it? That's it. But, I realize it's not incrementing. You get, if I do this, if I consume all, I get literally nothing from that. So I've started saving it now. Speaking about numbers going up, I've discovered a new game this week, guys, that I'm a bit hooked on. Kerry's been joking that I'm addicted to it. I've only been playing it like 2 days. Okay. I haven't played it yet today. But it's a bit out of date, but I'm really having a lot of fun with it. Super Auto Pets. Unironically. Oh, man. So addicting. So fun. I'm like slowly working through the achievements in the turtle pack. It costs like $10, so like £7 or something, to get the other decks, which I might look at eventually. But it's quite cool. I'm a big fan of the boar-tiger combo. Really good. I think the monkey is really, really strong as well. I liked the penguin for a while, but I'm not so sure anymore. The flamingo I hate. Getting the achievement for the flamingo is really, really, really hard. I like the giraffe and the sound effect that the giraffe makes. Giraffe! Instead of an actual thing. I like the rabbit as well, and the rabbit sound effect, the little noise. It's a good game. It's a free game. Check it out. I'm becoming a Super Auto Pet shill now. So anyway, that's something I've been doing. I also watched E.T. last night, and honestly, that movie's awful. That movie has not held up well at all. It's such a wanky script. The characters are also stilted and unnatural. The mother character in particular, almost every scene with her just feels weird. The comedy shit. Now, look, I'm going to say something that's ridiculous. You guys are going to discredit every opinion I ever have, ever, again. But John Williams' score is shit in that as well. Never have I watched a movie where I've thought, okay, give it a rest. Like, the music is so bombastic and extra and insane and going all over the place all the time. And it's like, but what are we watching? We're watching, like, a kid stare at, like, a teddy bear in a corner. Oh. Like, I get it. If it was 30 years ago, maybe it'd be captivating. But that movie's not held up well. Anyway, sorry. Sorry. People are here for Guild Wars chat. Let's see. Well, no, I don't want to get into particulars about everyone's background and stuff. I'll just leave it at Arenanet. But I'm telling you, a lot of these people are and were streamers and video makers. Okay? Bloody hell, I'm on something today. Seriously, go back and rewatch E.T. and ask yourself whether the drama justifies the score. Just ask yourself that as you're watching it. That's all I'm saying. Just ask whether it is earned the emotions the music are asking of you. That's all I'm saying. As an Asura thief, we can canonically hate script. I see, the problem with reading chat here is I know that there's something script related in a minute. I don't want spoilers. But I also don't want to sit here saying, don't say any spoilers. So should I just skip all your lovely comments? Should we just do it? Is everyone ready? 720p. I've scrolled up quite a lot. 720p should be illegal for a company streaming a game. And 100% on the images. I'm not lying, right? The transcoder did not give me an option higher than 720p. I'll tell you that. It was 720. That's it. Also, by the way, I heard that Twitch is letting people go up to 2K now. That was one of the reasons I came over to YouTube. Well, sorry, 2K. 1440. I know people hate describing 1440 as 2K. I'm definitely that stereotype. I do that all the time. I feel so bad for them. I tend to look on the bright side and just enjoy things as much as I can, but I'm discouraged right now. Oh, what? Because of today's post? What timeline are we living in? Guys, they're about to reveal the Paragon for Guild Wars 2. The Ritualist for Guild Wars 2. Elite specializations are back. How is that not hype-worthy? How is that not hype-worthy? Could be their personal internet connection. I mean, is that an excuse? Alright, let's do it. Okay, everybody's ready. Alright, I'm going to throw an intro up. I always get nervous. Because there's no editing. If I make videos in this way, there's no editing available. None. All right, okay, so just so that everyone knows, I'll stop saying this every episode. What's going to happen, guys, is you're going to look at a black screen for about 5 seconds. Then you're going to see the WoodenPotatoes intro. And then I'm going to shoot the video. And I won't really be looking at chat during that part. However, leave your comments, because when I finish, I'll scroll up and we'll have a read and we'll do a cool back and forth community Q&A sort of section. You know, maybe log on to the existing classes and look at what they have if that's relevant and stuff. When the video section ends, I'm going to do an outro, so you might think, oh, he's leaving. I'm not leaving. I'll be back. Okay? Well, hello everybody, and welcome. Another week has passed, and we get another 3 elite specializations. I know nothing about these specs. Well, I know little pieces because I've grabbed some screenshots from the blog post and the trailer. They are revealing the Paragon, the Ritualist, and which, you know, are both returning from Guild Wars 1, so should be pretty hype-worthy there, assuming there's still a lot of Guild Wars 1 players out there at the moment. And a new face entirely, the Antiquary. So last week they did a heavy, a medium, and light. They've done the same here. So the Ritualist is light, the Paragon is heavy. Lastly, is medium, the Antiquary, that was Thief. So we'll be looking at Thief as well. And yeah, I got no idea what's in store. We have a trailer, and just like I did in the last part, we'll watch the trailer and we'll go through the blog. We'll see what Arenanet have to say. This is going to be now. I assume this blog post is going to be very similar to last week's, where this is more about flavor and story and theme, and like an overall gist. And we'll have to tune in on their Friday live stream for more mechanics, which they did do last week. I wasn't a big fan of the stream last week. I will, however, be there again in chat, and we'll see whether they give us a good show. So yeah, there's not much really more to be said. Let's just get on in here. Elite specialization reveal: Thief, Necromancer, and Warrior. So yes, if it wasn't clear yet, because they did actually reveal the concept art for 2 of these a while ago, Warrior is getting Paragon. I'm very happy with that. You can see me on the record for, oh god, I mean the timescales are getting big now. 6, 7 years probably, saying Paragon, if they ever did it, should be warrior. And it's a very superficial reason I've always said and wanted that. It's the color. You know, Paragon is like a very golden sort of martial class to me. It didn't feel like it really fit on Guardian, which was the other big candidate. So yeah, and of course we can combo that with the spear from last year, and I hope to have something pretty fun. So let's see, we got, mind you, the spear. Well, I don't know. I'm curious, very curious about this warrior Paragon stuff, because how supporty are they going to go? I would assume it's a kind of a more aggressive sort of support. What I want to see more than anything else are those golden wings looking good. Ritualist will be really interesting on the Necro as well. I'm wondering if they get rid of a Shroud. We'll see what we have. So yeah, immediately with the blog post, they just throw us in on the trailer. So let's do it. Let's watch and...
Peggy 12.
Oh god, we'll see what we've got.
Rich with history, Tyria is filled with artifacts and remnants of the past, all ripe for the picking. A collector of sorts, the Antiquary has a certain set of skills to give them the upper hand, and maybe make a profit. Send a script to pilfer an opponent. Stealing random artifacts from your enemy can be a valuable skill.
Is that steel? Sorry, I'm going to try not to pause. Is that steel?
Use your opponent. Will you leap up and bring the hammer down? Or let a dancer taunt your enemies? Whatever artifacts you manage to steal or borrow, a good antiquary will always find a good use for their plunder.
A dancer?
Long practiced in Cantha, ritualists summon forth spirits from the mists, granting boons and sowing chaos on the battlefield. Shroud yourself with the ritual knowledge of the past. Summon spirits to aid you in battle. Mark an enemy, seal their fate. The spirit of anguish will send volley after volley to deal increased damage.
Anguish is back.
Daze your enemies with the spirit of wanderlust as it slams the ground, knocking your enemies to the ground. And as your allies fight beside you, grant them boons and heal their wounds with the spirit of preservation. Summon and channel otherworldly entities. As a ritualist, you will gain a deeper understanding for the spirits of Tyria. Their chants echo across the sands of Alona, reaching friend and foe alike. The Paragons are pillars of protection, channeling their adrenaline to bolster their allies and demoralize their enemies. Let your voice ring out as you support and bolster your allies around you. Protect them with a barrier to help them defend against oncoming attacks, absorbing damage meant for allies for a short time. Chant of freedom to break, stun, and give your allies a speed bonus. As a Paragon, you seek to protect your allies and motivate them to break through their limitations, to fight onward. Be the voice that stirs inspiration as it echoes across the desert sands.
Funny there. I almost would have thought that they mentioned POF quite a lot there, and but obviously the trailer footage is still taking place in the new era. Wow, I have so many observations there. First, the enemies that they were fighting looked pretty interesting. That boar and stuff. The ritualist. Did I hear her say Wanderlust? Because I think they're all returning spirits. But so you get 3 spirits. I wonder if it's going to have core shroud then. A bit like how Luminary kept its core F abilities. And then you just get an F2, F3, F4. And you get the 3 spirits. They could do... But yeah, you could do Signet of Spirits for the Elite. That's what I'd really like to see as well. Wow, the Antiquary. By the way, I really think the icons and everything that they're doing look so good. Like the emblems and stuff that they put on the lower third at the start of each section. Wow, I'm very impressed with the art and stuff, at least for the professions and what they've actually picked. Okay, so let's just get into the blog post. All right, well, we'll try and bear that in mind. That seemed a little bit easier to understand what was going on there than in last week's, to be honest. Okay, hello, Tyrians. Welcome back for another set of Elite Specializations. For Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity. If you missed last week's unveiling of the Troubadour, which was the Mesmer, the Gale Shot, which was the Ranger, and the Luminary was the Guardian. Be sure to check out last week's blog. And my rating, we'll do kind of an impromptu tier listy type thing here, I guess. I really liked the Gale Shot. Very simple, but brilliant, I think. The Troubadour beneath that, and the Luminary, I'm a bit iffy on the Luminary, to be honest. It's not very high, but so that's sort of my rating so far. Today, the focus shifts towards the Thief, the Necromancer, and the Warrior. Fans of the original Guild Wars may be familiar with 2 of the elite specializations that we're talking about today, while the third is full of surprises. Can I just say, it's kind of weird that we have 2 out of 3, and the third is medium, which easily could have been a dervish, right? It would have fit the pattern. I wonder if at some point, you know, rewind the clock a year ago, a year and a half, 2 years, I don't know how long out this stuff was being set up. Do you think they were going to do a triple pack, but they realized dervish just kind of doesn't work, whether that was in mechanics or theme, because dervish is very human gods tied, so, you know, you'd have to tweak it a lot, and then has it totally lost its identity without the avatars and stuff? Or do we have to do something really weird with the lore to have Asuri using the avatars or Norn using the avatars? So they sort of scrapped it, and now the Antiquary is just kind of this weird thing. Anyway, tune in tomorrow for the stream. We don't have to read all of that. Let's just move on. So, the Antiquary. Again, it's a great icon. So my speculation, if you caught my video with Boots, my speculation on this was that you would draw cards somehow, and they would give you initiative. Like, maybe initiative doesn't regenerate anymore, the mechanic is really different, and there's sort of this gambling card drawing element to it. I didn't really believe in card throwing, because I thought that came very close to, especially not activated on F skills, because I thought that came very close to what we already have with the Virtuoso. What I never anticipated at all is a Scrit. Wow, okay, the concept art of the guy looks awesome. Now, what do I think about the Scrit? Okay, the very first thing that trailer just said was relics of the past, Tyria's history. That all sings to me. I love that. That's brilliant, obviously. I'm a big lore hound, and I really enjoy that. So the idea that we would get, like Boots suggested, you get totally new stolen items. I think that's brilliant. And if they're all really fancy, cool, like, artifacts, and I don't just mean putting stuff in from the lore that we already know about, but, you know, even just new ideas, that could be really fun. But that's not what I saw in the trailer. I saw a metal guitar, like a metal Legion guitar. I saw a scarlet dancing hologram. I saw basically like guild decorations, which doesn't... I'm sorry to be a bit of a downer here. My instinct on that is not a very good one. It just kind of feels like, hey, how can we get more value out of these assets that are already in the game? So, I mean, they were so close to being very cool, but now I'm a bit weirded out. The Scrit thing, look, Scrit aren't very cool, but they are a fun part of the universe, right? They've been written comedically for so long, I think people don't really take them seriously. So the idea of, like, if you want to feel like a badass, and now, I mean, what is this? Do we have like a Scrit companion? I press F1 and throw a Scrit at a place, and it plunders the floor and reveals something. I mean, are Scrit diggers and treasure... I mean, they are treasure hunters. This could be really weird, guys. This could be really, really, really weird. And how does that map with the cards? Oh, God. This is a bit like Virtuoso, you know, doing half songs, half blade throwing. Feels like they've mixed quite a few things together. You know, a treasure hunter is not necessarily the same as a gambling type character. Let's see. All right. So anyway, those are my initial impressions. The Antiquary. Improvisational procurers. So what are we calling this? Improvisation plus... the balance of black market trade and above board commerce. Yeah, let's throw Lion's Arch in there as well. There's Scrit, Hooligan's Route. And above-board commerce in Lion's Arch has tipped towards legitimacy in recent years, and the captains... Well, it was always legitimate to them, right? And the Captain's Council has banded together with several smaller factions to claim a place in the Tyrian Alliance. But the discovery of Janthiri artifacts has started a gold rush, as explorers hustle to procure rare and valuable items that no living culture can lay claim to. Oh, see, this is a bit like what I was thinking about with the Gale Shot, where it was kind of a really cool evolution of the setting and part of the world building, but I don't like getting an offhand paragraph about it on a blog post. You remember before Guild Wars 2 came out, where they introduced us to the Coden, and they had a behind-the-scenes bit from the studio, they had general information about how it functioned in the setting, and they interspersed it with short stories. That was a badass way to learn about Tyria. You know, if not that, then actually seeing it in game. Like, is there going to be an arc in the story about this? Something tells me no. The somewhat euphemistically titled Antiquaries pride themselves on their scholarly appreciation for the artifacts they acquire. Many even keep a few in their private collections, ready to impress colleagues at the tavern or blindside foes on the battlefield. And whether they're priory historians or pirates, Lion's Arch is still their favoured nexus for trading and selling their wares and knowledge. So we got the Priory in there, we got Lion's Arch in there, we got the Scrit in there, we got Card Sharks in there. It's a bit higgledy-piggledy, isn't it? And when I look at that NPC, I don't see any of those things. I see, you know, like a jungle explorer or something. I see like, I mean, I guess I see a treasure hunter. Scrit happens. Wow, what a heading. Considering that the actual game wouldn't touch the word shit with a 10-foot pole. Antiquaries are the pinnacle of accomplished thieves. No longer stealing for material need, and purely doing so for the fun of it. Right. With the help of their loyal but not necessarily reliable Scrit assistants, Antiquaries can plunder pressure artifacts from their opponents and turn their random spoils into improvised weapons. Oh, okay, that's interesting. The fact it says from their opponents. I was thinking from the trailer and the whole idea here that you know how on regular Thief you target an enemy and you press F1. You cannot steal without an enemy, right? I was thinking somewhere in the back of my mind here that the fundamental shift on this one is you no longer need a target to steal. Steal is like ground targeted, right? You're not stealing from an enemy anymore. You're stealing from the floor. You're like digging, right? Maybe steal is called dig or something. And the Scrit goes and digs for you. I mean, it may as well be a goddamn dog, right? Not a Scrit. Anyway, that's sort of what I thought they were going for. But now it's Scrit. Antiquaries plunder precious artifacts from their opponents. So it is still a thing where you need to target someone. I guess because it breaks too many traits. Like, what happens if I mug the floor? I do damage to the floor? No, you just get a heal, right? I don't know. It's workable. So I don't know. Do we target enemy? And does that make any sense? What's the Luda narrative there? Everyone that if I steal, if I use the Scrit steal on a cow in Queensdale, what, the cow had eaten a Metal Legion guitar? Or a Hollow Dancer? Antiquaries can even break the rules of regular combat, allowing them to reverse a dire situation. That sounds interesting. Or at the very least, take themselves and their opponents out in a blaze of glory. For the thrill-seeking players who delight in rolling the dice and adapting to any situation no matter the outcome, look no further than the Antiquary. Is there going to be a dice relic? Oh god, are the cards a relic? What does that mean? Allow them to reverse a dire situation? Take themselves and their opponents out in a blaze of glory. Do you know what that makes me think of? Who's that champion in League of Legends that when he ults you... A Mordekaiser. It sounds like a Mordekaiser type thing, right? So there he is, pointing furiously. Oh, come on. That's not a good screenshot. I can do that in-game right now. I can go in-game. I can put on the Bounty Hunter outfit on a human male, and I can type /point. And look at the background. That could be in Brisbane. I'm assuming that is a new outfit, by the way. Are we actually looking at new Elite Spec gear on this? Press your luck. Antiquaries acquire new artifacts with the skill Pilfer, which replaces Steal. I don't play too much Thief, right? But if I did play Thief, I'd be looking at the fact that I've lived the experience of my F1 changing into a new skill a lot of times now. You know, Daredevil got it retroactively. Deadeye obviously is a big deal. I think that the Shadow Shroud was kind of a cool new thing because it didn't feel like this. But I guess we're doing it again. Summoning a Skrit assistant from underground. Oh, I guess that makes sense. The Skrit are a subterranean race. I hadn't been thinking about that. So they can sort of pop up. And at some point, guys, you know, you got to just get over it. It's like how a Necro can summon a minion anywhere. There's not always corpses around, obviously, but we just sort of assume there are if you go deep enough. I mean, you dig in your back garden, you'll find some pet bones, I'm sure. Maybe we'll find a Skrit. After a successful pilfer, instead of stolen skills, Antiquaries get the choice of using one of two randomly selected artifacts from across Tyria. So you get an F2 and an F3, and it's your choice which to pick. These artifacts range from... See, that's interesting, because that's almost... It feels a little bit card gamey in a way there, you know? Like, there's an opportunity cost. Which one do you go for? Which is pretty fun. I wonder if there was kind of a card shark idea that this mechanic was originally once part of. These artifacts range from a Cryptis turret that fires automatically at any nearby enemy. Is that a relic? To a Chuck organ that produces a shield, protecting you from oncoming projectiles. I mean, these may as well just be new stolen items. Traits give you finer control over the artifacts you receive, from guaranteeing that you'll get one offensive and one defensive artifact each time you pilfer, to re-rolling your artifacts for new ones at the cost of initiative. Look, you can even mulligan. Doesn't this feel like a card shark? I like the idea of that. Sounds very fresh and innovative and different. And with that comes the risk that it will feel bad. But I like that they're taking that risk. Because, you know, when you're taking a trait purely for some QOL, it's easy to think, well, there's just an opportunity cost loss. But, you know, they can shoehorn other stuff in there. Get might when you do it. Get fury, whatever. Double Edge, the Antiquary's new skill category. That's a weird tag for skills. Consists of a set of... Is that the first time we've had 2 words for a skill tag? You know, usually it's like glyph, rage, physical. Consists of a set of abilities that can be used repeatedly, even while on cooldown. Oh, they're like initiative. They're like weapon skills. The catch? There's a chance for the skill to backfire when used while still cooling down, often with detrimental effects to the user. The chance of the skill backfiring decreases the closer it gets to completing its cooldown. So players who are more risk-averse may want to wait a little before attempting to use a double-edged skill again. I see why it's called double-edged. Again, same comment. That seems fresh and different. Immediately, look, any spec with RNG inherent to its like lifeblood, I think, is going to put a certain type of player off. But I think it's okay. I like that they're breaking new ground. And I know that for us right here, right now, we're reading this blog post, we're looking at this, and we're potential thieves, and we're thinking we want to play the new shiny thing. So it has to appeal to you. And if it doesn't, then it's a failure in your eyes. But I think as over time, and when you look at the full product, you know, there are so many elite specs and classes to pick from. It's okay if one of them has a focus that doesn't quite appeal to you. So I'm sort of okay with that. It is going to be interesting, though. I mean, it's going to feel real bad, especially in the competitive modes. If you lose you lose the point because you accidentally triggered a blowout on yourself because you took the risk. And I believe in RPGs that are about risk assessment and are about risk management. You know, and when you think about, you know, card games, it's a lot of that too. I just don't know whether you can shoehorn that a little bit into Guild Wars. Guild Wars 2 is not that. And wherever historically there has been RNG, they've always boiled it away. They've always de-accented skills and traits and things to give them more universal appeal. So it'll be an interesting one. I would not be surprised to see balance over the next 4 years boil all this shit out, because that's what's happened everywhere else in Guild Wars 2. But hey, you know, if you're going to put it on a class, I think having it on the Thief's a thing. And that's it. That's all we get. Interesting. You see when it says stuff like, oh, a Chuck organ that gives you projectile mitigation. You see how these are all tools and utilities that just aren't captivating anymore because we already have them? You know, any utility people might like is all over the place in the game. So there's a certain spice, I think, to this new wave of elite specs that is missing now because those niches aren't available anymore. Okay, so there we go. It's Antiquary. Weird one. It really feels like they made like a gambler spec. The mechanics all point that way, and then the story and theming is kind of all over. All right, let's move on. I'm not sure how any of the examples they gave are relics. How is a chuck organ a relic? So the Ritualist into Guild Wars 1 fanboy mode. Now in that trailer, I think we saw 3 spirits. I think they were all spirits from the first game. Great art. Now the blade is interesting for the icon. There was nothing in that trailer about sacrificial, life sack, anything like that. And to be honest, I don't believe there should be. I believe in like a blood magic plus line. That's not the Ritualist to me. That's like a vampire or something. And that's where you have like sacrifices and so on. I mean, I know if you take just the raw texture of the idea of a Ritualist, but what we're really doing is we're looking at the Guild Wars 1 Rit, which was less about that. They did have sacrifice skills. Don't get me wrong, they did. And then you wouldn't sacrifice if a spirit was in range. You know, Spirit Light is like the best example of that. But I don't know. I feel like that icon should be like a spirit. If we're doing spirits, have it as a spirit. And leave yourself the space later for your sacrificial theme. Well, here we go. The Ritualist spiritual successors. Ritualism is one of Tyria's oldest professions. The practice originated in Cantha, where humans discovered that spirits could be summoned from the mists and bound to a ritualist's will. We'll just gloss over rangers and nature rituals. In practice, this was traditionally a respectful partnership between ritualists and ancestral spirits, but as the speakers, there you go, I thought the speakers would be mentioned, influence spread in recent years, so did their hastily adopted methods of forcibly binding spirits. Necromancy and ritualism have long been considered separate disciplines, but as open hostility between the speakers and the Jade Brotherhood cools, and Cantha becomes one of the Tyrian Alliance's strongest pillars, ritualists have formed ties with necromantic communities across central Tyria, Elona, and beyond. This seems like a very wispy sort of justification, doesn't it? Ritualism will gain new practitioners. Networks of political support and shared resources will ensure that responsible traditions are favoured over cruel shortcuts to power. So I'm really excited about the Ritualist. My argument with the Paragon being on Warrior is like the colour theming and stuff matches so perfectly. I must acknowledge, if I really like that about the Warrior, I must acknowledge that it doesn't work here. There was nothing really green about the Necromancer. Sorry, there's nothing green about the Ritualist. I seriously doubt we're going to get a bunch of blue skills. We actually saw in the trailer there that the Guild Wars 2 spirits, they look totally different, right? They're like in terms of the way they're color coded and everything. So it feels like it's forced in a bit. Realistically, guys, this could have been its own class in terms of like flavor. It really there was space carved out for it. But you know, let's live in the real world. I don't think we're ever going to see another new class for Guild Wars 2. It's all this elite specs all the way down, I think. I mean, maybe I'll eat my words. I didn't think elite specs would come back. Preserving a legacy. As you might expect, the Ritualist draws heavily inspiration from its Guild Wars 1 counterpart. We'll go into more detail during this Friday's livestream, but our design goal was to capture the key elements of the profession and translate them into Guild Wars 2. And to achieve that, we started with spirits. Absolutely. I think that is the Emperor, king among kings, right? There are lots of facets to the Ritualist. Like we mentioned, life sack, healing, lightning damage, weapon skills, urn skills, and spirits. There's a lot, but spirits were the big deal, really, right? Depending on their skill and trait selections, we expect Ritualists will be able to specialize into supportive builds or aggressive power-focused builds. Okay. Spirits will be summoned while in Ritualist Shroud. Well, they could do a bunch of different... They could have gone blue with it then, right? If it's all sort of neatly within that Shroud. So there is a Shroud. I really thought it could be Core Shroud. F2, F3, F4. So you get a whole Shroud. So potentially 5 spirits. 3 mentioned on the trailer, but there could be 5. Or binding rituals. I mean, maybe utilities are binding rituals. I don't know. And the Ritualist will also gain access to weapon skills as a utility type. There you go. Just did that thing again where we speculated about a thing in the same sentence that time. For those who aren't familiar with weapon spells from Guild Wars, they're shareable, beneficial effects with similarities to stances and venoms. Yeah, think of them as another variety of boon. That is the example I would have given. But you can only have one at a time, like a stance. Some are applied for specific duration, and others are applied as stacks. Okay. Well, I'm actually more excited about those than the binding rituals right now. While weapon spells were ally-targeted skills in Guild Wars 2, and they could have done it that way since the Spectre and all that. But in Guild Wars 2, they behave a bit differently. We found that Spectre experiment didn't really work very well, right? People want the 5 targets or bust in a lot of ways. The Ritualist will always receive the full effect of the skill, while up to 4 nearby allies will receive the effect at a reduced amount. I don't like that. Why? For example, one skill may last for 5 seconds on the Rit and 3 seconds on their allies. That seems very ticky-tacky. Why is that there? An unnecessary convolution is my gut reaction to that. Okay, so we got 3 spirits. I think what I saw in the trailer was... Well, they'll probably tell us. Yeah, look, they're very green. What does the Ritualist Shroud look like? Where it just kind of blacks us out. Doesn't look too interesting, does it? That's Gux there. The iconic Necromancer. There they are. Anguish, Wanderlust, and Preservation. I guess she did say Wanderlust. It sounded like she said something else in the voiceover. So Anguish is a Guild Wars 1 spirit that did double damage. It just kept attacking. And if they had a hex on them, it did double damage. And they often would have a hex because of an ally, or maybe you've cast... oh, Christ. What is the Ritualist hex? Makes them take an extra packet of damage whenever they get hit with a spirit. Why? Well, I'm blanking on it. Anyway, Wanderlust was an elite spirit that would spam knockdowns. And I think in the trailer they said that looked like a point-blank blast for days. And Preservation was kind of crappy. It was an elite as well. And what it is every, like... 5 seconds or something, it would heal an ally in earshot. One ally. It would be a fat heal, but because it's allies, it might hit like a minion. Could it hit other spirits? And also, I think it could like even heal people. Like if you had a tiny little bit of health missing, like the smallest little bit, it was like ridiculous overhealing. It might have even healed people at max health. So it wasn't very good, really. But the other two, I have lots of happy memories of, especially Wanderlust in random arenas. The Ritualist Shroud behaves similarly to the Necromancers. It's fueled by life force. Yeah, see, we have the Luminary Shroud, the Radiant Shroud, which doesn't, from last week, didn't really feel like a shroud to me. I mean, to me, it's life force, right? And it's a resource you build and then spend. And they called the Luminaries one a shroud, but is it really a shroud? It's fueled by life force. Damage taken drains the life force pool. Just like with Reaper. Just like with Core. Once life force is fully drained, the player exits the shroud. Inside the shroud, Ritualist will have access to 3... It's not 5 spirits. 3 skills that summon spirits. Anguish, Wanderlust, Preservation. Each of these skills has... Oh, I don't know, guys. This isn't going to feel like a fun spirit spammer. I don't think they've nailed it. Okay, unless there's like a Grandmaster trait that means you double the spirits, or the spirits resummon themselves like Chrono Phantasma or something. I don't think they've nailed it. Why? One of them's CC utility, one of them's support utility. There's only one offensive one. Well, hold on. Maybe we can summon multiple copies. Let's keep reading. Each of these skills has an initial effect activated by the Ritualist, after which the spirit will appear. When a spirit is summoned, it performs a powerful attack before lingering in a more passive state. Oh, so they're doing the Phantasm thing. If you guys don't know, Phantasms on Mesmer used to be full-fledged summons, really. Like if you summoned a Sword 5, it would keep attacking over and over and over and over and over. And there were some cool, albeit very passive builds there. Arenanet decided they didn't like that playstyle and changed it. And I've been wondering if they ever did spirits in Guild Wars 2, whether that would be a way to reclaim what the Mesmer lost. But looks like they still don't like it. Have they nailed it, though, with this type of spirit? During that time, the spirit will periodically attack nearby enemies. Okay, so it's passive, but it is still attacking. These attacks can be focused on a specific enemy by targeting that enemy with the Shroud's basic attack. Oh, wow. You can, like, pin it as a target. Oh, God. What else does the basic attack do? Oh, maybe that's going to be that Hex I was thinking of. What was it called? I really can't remember what it's called. Otherwise, the spirits will simply attack an enemy that's in range. Spirits will usually disappear when exiting Shroud. Oh. However, there's a trait that allows them to stick around for longer for a cost. We see that all over the place in the game, right? For example, when activating Anguish, the Ritualist performs an initial strike on the target that inflicts cripple and vuln. It marks the target to take additional damage from your summoned creatures. Ooh, that also includes minions. See, that's something Arenanet and Guild Wars 2 have been moving away from for years and years and years as well. The idea of very specific combos, you know, like an Ellie shares fire or a Berserker detonates it. We saw with the stuff last week that there's explosions of light aura now too. I like that. I like very specific trait combos across very specific synergies. There we've got another one. If they're moving back towards those kinds of philosophies, I'm very happy with that. When Anguish is summoned, it fires a barret. But mind you, though, I mean, we could have produce our own minions for it. So they've been minded about the fact that a Necro might like to do spirits and minions, I guess. It's not just about your friends' minions. When Anguish is summoned, it fires a barrage of projectiles at the target. Oh, please tell me that's not just going to be barrage, but recolored. I mean, it might be. Deal additional damage against controlled enemies, and they're crippled, so they are a controlled enemy, for each condition on the enemy. There's a lot more to cover about the Ritualist Shroud, as well as some other trait interactions and the weapon spell utilities, so be sure to tune into the stream on Friday. What I really want out of this, guys, is I want a line that allows me to spirit spam. Like, I get it, zooing sucks, and the visuals are bad, and blah, 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 blah. But we are ultimately, at the end of the day, looking at Ritualist. And I think that that's something that people want to be able to do. It's actually a bit awkward having it on Necro. Because it's like you're just going to... If you want to go for that spammy kind of thing, you're just going to supplement it with minions. You're going to be like a hybrid always. I don't know. But the idea of just having one spirit there... Okay, also, they didn't describe all the skills, did they? One is like, you know, does a bit of damage or whatever. There's 3 spirits. What's the 5? I wonder if the 5 is Signet of Spirits and it summons all 3 at once. Or something. The Elite could be Signet of Spirits. I don't know. Alright. And then watch the Paragon. The only difference about this Paragon that I can see so far is obviously you don't get a shield. You're going to have... a 2-handed spear. And we saw some of the animations in the trailer just there. I was sort of laser focused on it. Because a lot of the time he was holding it in one hand, it looked like. But maybe that's how it looks in game already. The Paragon, Unrelenting Protectors, Elona, Land of the Golden Sun, a once opulent dynasty, and Triune. I don't know that word. Now, I'll give you guys a good life habit here. Quick sidebar. Whenever there's a word in text on the internet, if you're on Chrome... double-click the word, it will get highlighted, right? Right-click the word, and it has a little search on Google button there. And it will open that word on Google in a new tab for you, so you won't lose your place or anything. And it will instantly give you the definition. And I would ordinarily always do that, but here I can't. This is just a screenshot I took. A Triune 3 something. Oh, okay, just a Triune 3 nations. 3 nations scarred by war, pestilence, and the machinations of divines and dragons over the centuries. In times of crisis, the nations of Elona could count on its most steadfast and inspiring warriors, the Paragons, to serve as an unyielding phalanx against their foes without and within. Lovely. Well, I really like that, the writing there. In the past, these spear and shield-wielding fighters were a favoured specialisation of the storied Sun Spears. However, the practice faded into obscurity after the second coming of Palawa Joko, who saw the Sun Spears summarily crushed and twisted into the Mordant Crescent. Holy shit, a Mordant Crescent Paragon would be kind of cool. The inheritors of the practice eventually re-emerged in the years following Joko's demise, i.e. recently. Today, Paragons are still known for conjuring golden ethereal wings and shouting bolstering chants and commands to empower their allies and demoralize their enemies. Hoping to expand this tradition beyond Alona, some Sunspear Paragons have begun offering their expertise to those willing to answer the call. Okay. I'm sorry I don't really have too much sort of lore commentary for you guys here. At the end of the day, this is all info we already knew. I mean, every sentence there, but it's a good recap for people. Commanding respect. The Paragon is a staple pillar of Guild Wars 2 lore, and its elite specialization carries on the traditions of its original iteration. I think they're going to get this one very accurate. While the spears were introduced in Guild Wars 2 Janthia Wilds had already brought one of the Paragon's key aspects to warriors, this elite specialization further delves into their role as commanders and defenders of Alona. Man, Arenanet are nailing it on this one. Everything they're talking about. Granting them the ability to boulder and aid allies around them with chants and commands. So the question is, what is what? So there's not anthems, there's not echoes. Those have fallen by the wayside, potentially. There might be some traits themed around those. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if traits are echoes. Like where it will be like maybe there's a Grandmaster trait called Echo or something, and it double casts some of your stuff. I assume the chants are maybe F1, F2, F3. Sorry, F2, 3, 4, and commands are maybe the utility skills. Their presence is so powerful they can, in a moment of dire need, command their allies not to die. The We Will Never Yield elite skill prevents the Paragon and their allies from falling below 0 health for a short time. Wow. Wow. It's really funny, right? Because when they announced this new wave of elite specs, I was sort of thinking about where my excitement was. And I remember when the End of Dragons wave came out. And they had that Willbender trait, remember? That meant you can't die. And it was like, whoa, you can't die. Oh my god, how can we use this? Blah, 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 blah. And then, of course, it ended up opposed to more interesting traits. And in a team scenario, who cares if only one guy's alive? Sort of didn't really mean much in the end. Then, of course, last week we had all this about the Troubadour and Distort Share and death-defying nonsense at a party-wide scale. And now we're back here. They do it again here. We Will Never Yield. As far as I remember, that is not a Guild Wars 1 Paragon ability. But it's named exactly how they would be. They should have called it It's Just a Flesh Wound. That was a Guild Wars 1 ability. Oh, they should have called it It's Just a Flesh Wound. That would have been epic. Come on, Arenanet. Ah, anyway. Yeah, this is wild. If the balance is going to a place where they allow for these tools, yes, it will invalidate prior encounters, but new encounters can be made to make this stuff interesting, you know? I do envision a world where the Troubadour has these kind of tools. You know, Tempest has Rebound. You got the Paragon doing this. I mean, and you do want that big supportive niche, right? To give it something. I kind of really like this. It doesn't fit in the current model of Guild Wars 2 well. It's a bit scary, but if they change the model, and that's what I've been arguing that they should do. And again, it's provocative, it's interesting. This is what I want to see. Wow. And we hear at last about one of the elite skills. We didn't get any information on the other ones. First impressions is I'm excited about that. So here we go in with the wings. What is it? Is it the bloom? They don't look crisp, do they? Nothing in Guild Wars looks crisp. I don't know if I have a criticism of the Paragon there or just, you know, the engine rendering. It's probably just because of the bloom. Also, the wings look really short. Don't the wings look really small? Couldn't we go really big and crazy with the visuals on the wings? Given what they sell in the gem store. Given how nutty a lot of the stuff is. I mean, it's only a temporary animation. I mean, having them as a more permanent fixture one in the spec would also be really epic and cool. Oh, imagine if there was a Grandmaster that just meant you had the wings out permanently. As like a, you know, it kind of like, you know when you're a herald and you pop up a facet, right? Facet style wings. Oh, that would be cool. Probably look a bit weird with your backpack, but you know, that's at your determination. Whether you hide it or in a different skin. Motivational chanting. Paragons build up motivation. Ooh, do I get motivation and adrenaline? You know, that's something Guild Wars is still not really done. Where you have 2 bars, 2 resources charging at once. I think Ranger can feel a bit close, you know, when you've got like the pet's health bar and a CA bar and your endurance bar. I'm guessing Adrenaline has just changed. They'll have to hook that into a lot of stuff elsewhere with the class. Rename it. A new resource. Whenever they use a burst... Oh, no, maybe you do have 2 bars. So we build Adrenaline, use the burst skill, which gives us motivation. It feels a little bit like some of the tactics support stuff, you know? In addition to where you're getting supportive stuff after bursting. In addition to level 1 weapon bursts. Okay, so we're kind of Spellbreaker level here. We don't get the higher tier bursts. Paragons gain access to chants. Okay, so chants are other F buttons. They're special bursts that are available regardless of the weapon equipped. Chant skills come in 2 parts. The first part occurs immediately when the skill is just like with the spirits. While the second part, the refrain... Oh, so I hadn't even mentioned refrains. Okay, so that's like the long-term bit. Is a pulsing beneficial effect. Refrains drain motivation, and they deactivate when it gets depleted. In addition, the effects of the refrain become stronger depending on the current motivation level. Thus, they are most effective when the Paragon stays on the front lines of battle, channeling adrenaline into bursts and chants to keep motivation high. This is really ringing very well to me right now. This feels like it's got a good flow to it. It feels well thought out. A satisfying mechanic that's different to what we've had before. It's not just dumping a shroud on here, right? Paragons also gain access to commands, which function similarly to shouts, affecting either enemies or allies around them. Furthermore, command skills come with an additional property called an echo. Echo is a secondary effect that triggers a short interval after a command is used, granting additional bonuses. However, echoes can also be triggered early by using a burst skill, allowing the Paragons to strategically time their echo effects to turn the tide of battle. It feels like they've played a lot of this and put a lot of cool little elements to it. I'm really excited about this. You know, throughout this video, I've been saying, oh, Paragon, Paragon, Paragon. I've probably given you the impression that based on theme alone, I was more excited about it than I was. But now I really am quite excited about it. I don't know, guys. That's sounding good to me. Oh, and it's over. Live stream this Friday. 6 elite specializations have now been revealed. We'll be back to discuss them next week. And check out Twitch tomorrow, Friday. There you have it. Wow. All right, so my rating of these 3. I'll tell you what. Let's watch the video.
Peggy
the trailer
12.
again on mute. And we'll see. So, Antiquary's at the bottom. I actually think Luminary still sounds worse. But they're pretty... just because the gameplay of the Guardian one looks so rubbish to me. Sorry. This is a thematic nightmare. I think if people aren't reacting well to this, it's because of the script component. Look at the bag just like flying into him. This feels more engineering, right? With loads of random gadgets and techie things. Why have so many of them got like a techie slant to them too? He's wielding a rifle. What was that weird little creature there? Sorry, Antiquary's at the bottom. Then I think Ritualist, we'll see what they will have for us on Friday. I'm a little concerned that this won't satisfy my Signet of Spirits desires. I mean, the spirit models are okay, I guess. They're really big. This was not at all my theory that they might have put legends onto a Necro. I think that would have made some cool, fun sense. And so, yeah, that was Wanderlust, I guess. Wanderlust does not look as exciting in Guild Wars 2 as it did in Guild Wars 1. I mean, think about Carla and the spirits on Carla, right? I mean, you have Wanderlust there. You want PBAOE day spam? We already have it. So there, look, that's 3 spirits up. All of their animations synced. Now, how did they sync their animations for that trailer? I think it's because I think Signet of Spirits does exist. I think it's summon all 3 at once. And it might be that final Shroud skill. Because how else did they get that on the trailer so perfectly lined up? Paragon visuals aren't really doing much for me. I mean, I like the sort of the alchemy glyph wheel on the bottom. The elite skill sounds mad. We didn't hear much about the offensive support there. But what they're doing with adrenaline and the mechanics sounds cool. That actually sounds a bit new and interesting. The question is, will I specifically want to use Spear with this a lot, or are there other things that I want to use? Obviously, I mean, weirdly enough, Staff from Secrets of the Obscure it might be the better fit. Well, so there you go. Wow. Well, there you have it, guys. Unfortunately, they don't have anything more for us. Thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'll be back for more very soon. If you want to watch sort of an expanded and immediate reaction to this, I'm going to talk to live chat and see what they feel about this in another video. You can find it on the live tab over on YouTube. And I just want to say thank you as well, guys. Thanks for all the support, all the comments. It's been a pleasure to read them from the blog post last week, and hopefully much more to come. Thank you, everybody. Let me know your takes, and I'll see you in the next one very soon. Ta-ta, guys. Right. Hello. Super weird that spirits look like people now, says Emily. Guild Wars 1 Ritualist summoned a spirit manifestation of pain or unity or restoration. Guild Wars 2 Necro Rit summoned somebody's dad. Yeah, that's just like the speaker model, isn't it? I was wondering that as I was speaking, but I wasn't sure, so I held my tongue. It's just like one of the regular speaker models, isn't it? Welcome back to chat, WP. We have missed you. It feels really weird doing this, guys. I mean, are we all okay? Do you guys like dropping comments when I'm clearly not looking at them? We'll scroll up, though, and see them in a second. Yeah, those are just the Guild Wars 2 version of spirits. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, that's been in place for a while now. You know, since EOD, we've seen spirits, right? And ritualists have been around, so naturally they took that as the model. What I'm kind of interested in here, right? This is my thief. He is a human male. If I go to the wardrobe, not the wardrobe, outfits. What is it? Bandit? Pirate, maybe? Yeah, it's not that. Oh. No, it's not pirate. Is it Explorer? Jungle Explorer? I swear to God. Is that it? He had a hat on, didn't he? We could dye it a little bit differently. I swear to God. Hey, I'm an Antiquary. I can't believe that screenshot. You know, I did all that bitching about the live stream. This ain't much better. Let's have a look here. Where is it? There. I mean, really? That's fresh out of 2012. What is that showing me? He's just commanded a script. Is that what's happened there? He's commanded a script, and it's very exciting. It snapped right before the money bag comes flying back into his hand. All right, yeah, I want to see your takes, guys. What do you all think about this? Antiquary is like Indiana Jones got drunk and dug up junk from the local landfill. I think one problem is they're examples of stolen items, or sorry, pilfered items, are not cool.
Your colors, they've changed.
I don't know, man. I think that they... When I look at the Virtuoso, right, and the thematic issues with the Virtuoso, I say to myself, well, it's probably because they don't know how far they're going with the game. You know, are we ever going to do any more elite specs? Are we going to reset with a new game? Possibly. So let's just get everything in there. All right, we'll do blade songs, and we'll do daggers. We'll do so. Like, they merge themes together because they don't know if they're going to do anything else. when I look at any thematic issue ever with any of the elite specs, that's what I assume it is. I assume it's short-sightedness, right? Oh, we want to do the Tempest. It could be a damagey thing. Oh, but what about like a support-y Tempest? That's a really novel idea too. Well, let's do it. Like they put everything in at once. I don't know, because there's no world where they'll do another one. But here's the thing. This new wave of 9. Are we in that world anymore? I don't think we are. I think mini X-Backs are earning them money, are not burning them out. As far as I can make out, right? They're working at a pay. They got ostensibly, and I'm sorry to say this if it's not true, right? To any devs out there, if it's not true, I'm deeply sorry to say this, but ostensibly there's a good work-life balance. People aren't getting burnt out. There's an expectation of a certain amount of content every year. They're getting money. They've managed to do elite specs in one of them. They'll probably, therefore, be able to do elite specs in another. So can there not be some long-term thinking now? Can there not be some confidence? Can we not go a bit... And so the Antiquary, why is it like 3 different things at once? Do a gambler with your RNG mechanics, right? Do a pirate. Do a Scrit treasure hunter, right? And the mechanic on the Scrit treasure hunter is you get a pet. The mechanist got a pet, right? This time Thief gets a pet, right? And the pet is a Scrit. You get a full-blown fucking Scrit pet, right? And together you go on adventures together, and it's about that, right? Why are there 4 different things all at once in that? I mean, so it cannot be this short-sighted thing. It must just be they don't have any confidence in any one idea, and then they're just throwing shit at the wall, but that does not improve it. I really don't think that helps it. So yeah, I think, you know, it might be, can I just say, the Antiquary might have really amazing mechanics, and it might flow really well, and it might be busted strong, and that's all that some people care about, obviously. So it may be fun, but it just in terms of theming, it's another like Weaver to me or something. Like the theme is just broken, and I don't know. Not too thrilled on that one. When I started this stream today, a lot of people in chat were saying, "Oh, Antiquary." Kerry had mentioned some misgivings about it to me last night. I get why everyone's saying that, because I mean, really, transform into a Scrit. I mean, yeah, drink a potion, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde style, and you're a fucking monster Scrit. I mean, Jesus, guys, just go play Vermintide 2. Warhammer Vermintide, alright? Fat Shark will teach you all about how to do a big, scary fucking rat ogre. Let me become a rat ogre. By the way, I still believe in a Guild Wars game that is... Imagine Fat Shark getting the Guild Wars IP and making that format of game for Guild Wars. Another one I think would be amazing that I thought from Darktide is Halo. Imagine a Fat Shark game with the Halo IP. Oh, it'd be so good. Ah. You know, you could repurpose some of the members of the Covenant as different sort of specialists, like hunters would definitely be specialists. Anyway, so I don't know, guys. The Antiquary is just someone. All right, someone in chat who likes the Antiquary. Come on, give it to me. What do you like? You think the Scrit is supposed to be Kid from Temple of the Doom? Yeah, I'm not a big indie fan. I did try to watch Temple of Doom. I never finished it. God, I'm not going to be pleasing the 80s movie viewers right now, am I? Talking shit about John Williams' score in E.T. and now this. And yeah, just the idea of pairing the Scrit to an elite spec is risky. Because they haven't done cool Scrit for ages. It's like if they paired a Quaggan to an elite spec in the water expansion, right? Like, the Quaggan can be cool, but they haven't emphasized them in that way for so long. People forget that there's the cool transformation element of the, you know, hulking out. You like Rifle Thief? Yeah, well, you've already got that. You think it's playing into a more general criminal archetype? You like that it has trickster qualities, but it makes 0 sense theme-wise. It really does have that vibe of, right, it's not a very strong theme, so they just keep throwing, like, stuff in the theme's orbit onto it in the hopes that it will get somewhere. I hope there'll be some 1% chance of a 75k DPS rotation with the skills. That reminds me of Ebon Vanguard sniper support from Eye of the North. You know, you had like, I don't know what the chance was, 10%? 25% chance? It would do like 900 damage in just one shot, whatever you hit it with. And the chance was a bit higher if you were doing it on a char, I think. You like that it's not edgy and it looks fun. Sure, the relics could be more relic-y, but it's a script you've employed, so you get what you get. Yeah, I like the script. I just want to say for the record, I like the script employment angle. What I don't like, though, is that it's not a pet. I really think it would have been cool as a pet. So, sue me, I like pets, all right? I think the Mechanist... I put the Bladesworn and the Mechanist at the top of EOD for the actual, like, engine work that went into them and what occurred there. I was talking to Boots about the Evoker and a pet. And he said, well, it's too many F skills. Boots was totally right about that. Well, that's not an argument when it comes to Thief. Let's do it, baby. Thief only has F1. Well, and F2. Scritter people, not pets. Yeah, okay. Well, you're a companion. Scritter sapient in this world, so having them as a pet would be unethical. Oh, come on. We understand that this is just a skill tag, right? This is just the name. This is just the inherited mechanic. I think a lot of it hinges on the stolen relics you get. Yeah, I think you're right. And so far, you know, you put your best foot forward in the blog post, don't you? I don't like any of them. Not a single one. I never liked the Metal Legion. I didn't think they fit into the setting. Not what I want the setting to be anyway. All right, and that's a personal thing, all right? I get it. I'm not giving you facts here. I'm just giving you personal takes. I never really liked the Metal Legion. It's not that I don't like metal. It's not that I don't like the idea of going to a concert, just not in this video game. And I don't like the sort of the comedic way it moved what could have been cool, bloodthirsty char. Anyway, whatever. That's irrelevant. So I'm not a big fan of... A chuck organ is nothing. That's nothing. Come on. How is that a relic? I mean, is this me hyper-focusing on the word relic? But if we're not stealing relics, what are we doing? If we're not pilfering and seeking fortune, what fortune are we getting from a chuck organ? There's nothing... There's just not... You know, let me throw gold at people... And why is there a card? Why is the icon of the spec a card?
Beasts with those big, burly arms.
I think they dropped the ball with 3 icons now. I think the Ritualist icon sucks. Shouldn't be a dagger. Don't know why it's a dagger. I think the Antiquary icon sucks. Shouldn't be cards. Why is it card? I think the Luminary... By the way, I'm really scared. Am I saying it wrong? Is it Luminant? No, it's Luminary, right? I was so worried the whole time that we were in the little video section there. I was saying it wrong. Shouldn't be a shield. It should be a lantern. I mean, the art's really good, but it's just misaligned. It's relics and treasure to a script point of view. Well, what are the script like? Shinies? And they do like junk. I mean, you might be onto something there, actually. Holy shit. You might be onto something. Stealing relics sounds cool. Stealing guitars, not so much. Hey, man, some guitars are very expensive, all right? You should see what, you know, some of these guitars from famous bands sell for in the years later. Should have been a bag of gold or trinkets. Well, it is a bag, isn't it? Let's rewatch it here. Let's rewatch the trailer here. Let's get some value. And if I'm right about this, we should be able to pause without exploding it. The footage. I mean, look, the cards look great. Look at the little sheen on there and everything. How the fuck is that an Antiquary? And I love this. The lower third, that's the lower third element I was talking about. I hate that rifle as well, by the way. The skins look gross. The map looks lovely, though. Really good. So there he's like reading from a book. That's interesting, isn't it? That's a subtle little thing. Do you think that's another relic? You get the book, you read it, you get a firebrand tome. I don't know. I think that's the same archway we saw before. So, he's pressed F1. It looks like it's a 3/4 of a second cast, maybe 1 second. And the scrit's come up, but the scrit has come up next to a target. So he has cast it on the target. Ah, it's just so hidden. So we are digging up stuff from the ground. But we can't cast on the ground. We cast on the target. Maybe it's a weird dynamic flexing kind of skill where you get a choice. Oh, we actually saw the scrit in the original trailer, but we didn't comment on it. We had a close-up. Oh, really? So then the bag flies into us. It's got a little blue ding. I would hope there's a nice little sound effect there. So now we have an ability. Now the script disappears. There's another one. I mean, with some cool traits and stuff that change this, make it more dynamic. And so we get a guitar. So we can play our guitar alongside our troubadour. Actually, oh my god. Do you know what this is? This makes me think. What are the odds the troubadour was going to have a guitar at one point, and then they binned it because it didn't fit, you know, the mechanically or the keybind or whatever. But now they had this guitar. So they were like, where can we use this guitar? They're like, I know. We can put it on the script spec. What are the odds? But, I mean, I don't know, though, because they already had the guitars and the animations and stuff since Grothmar. So maybe I'm overthinking it. And then what's this hammer? Yeah, they mentioned the hammer, right? What is that? Is he attacking with the guitar there? Is that what that is that I'm looking at? No, it's a hammer. What is the hammer? It's like a fish tank hammer. Let's listen to the audio here real quick.
Use your opponent. Will you leap up and bring the hammer down? Or let a dancer
bring the hammer down? I don't know what that is. That actually looks like it might be a relic. Is it? It's like Shushadu on a stick or something. But, I mean, it's all the SFX, the trails and stuff, make it so hard to see what's going on. Oh, is the script holding on to it? The script's with me while I'm doing it? Oh, yeah! That's the script back there! Oh, that's cool. That's very cute. See, that's some nice detail work. Oh, this poor spec. It probably does have really nice things in it, but I can fucking guarantee you tomorrow's live stream ain't going to show it off well. Okay, here's the hammer button. Yeah, it does damage, and it's got a knockdown, and it does a bit more damage when they're knocked down. Next button, and then I'll move on, and we'll be max zoomed out the whole time. But also, this is just a Rev hammer animation, isn't it? This is just Rev. It's probably just a supercharged Rev 5. 5? 3. 3. I mean, it fits on Thief, because we TP around. But look, what's this here? This is... So the script bursts out like a ghost. Oh, it's a dancing script. I thought it was a Scarlet Hollow. I really did. I thought it was a Scarlet Hollow. That looks amazing, by the way. The cutlass with the sword. Is that already in game? Is that just... That looks so good. So the script is dancing? I mean, the dancing thing. The dancing thing. And this is just rifle. Why? I mean, honestly. Oh, okay, sorry. We're showing the projectile blocks. I'm shooting through, and he's not able to shoot me back. I understand. I gotcha. And what's this? Is that me killing a script? What is that? That looks like some kind of new rat enemy. What is that? That's my script on the left. Oh, and there. That looks like I've got like a portal or something. This is like a relic where I can teleport, which is weird because we're a thief and we shadow step in myriad ways anyway. I would say it's going to be like a portal other people can use, but again, we got shadow portal for that. I don't know, man. Oh, is that just the taunt icon? I guess it is, yeah. I felt like I'd seen it before. It seemed familiar. I just couldn't tell where it was. My mic is too good quality. Actually, I hate my mic. In all these... One of the worst things about this thing where I'm making videos while live is I hate my microphone in all these OBS productions, and it's really hard to monitor while it's happening and all that. I gotta fix that shit. It's the staff portal. It's the staff portal? Stream will sell it or not. The gameplay's good. People will overlook the weirdness. Yeah, I never really got the impression the community cares that much about the theme of these things anyway. I always bitch and moan about it, but... That's just because it's not perfect in my ideal personal little world, and, you know, I'm a bit unforgiving about that, when I should be more. So, he's got the Bone Skinner weapon, by the way. Which is actually, I'm actually a little worried about that. What do you guys think of that? What I want from Elite Specs, it's not an Elite Spec if you don't give me the Elite Spec specialization weapon and an armor piece. Like, then that's not little fluff. That's a part of the progression of the class and building out a fantasy. I want to have gear that makes me look and play the type. And having a weapon's big deal. And we're not seeing unique weapons on these. Now, is that just the trailer putting random weapons on them instead of their actual weapons? Or not random, I mean clearly that's a necromancy looking weapon. What weapon? The giant staff he's spinning around. That's the Bone Skinner staff, isn't it? And then in Shroud we have nothing. Oh god, look, the autos look just like regular autos as well. Core Shroud autos. Oh, I see what's going on here. I've summoned minions, right? I'm using minion... No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I have a chart ally for some reason. This board looks awesome. Is that going to be a new form of mist entity? It's not a shadow monster. So the theory is all Menzies incursions next year. Might not fit. It actually looks kind of cryptic-y to me. What's happened here? The Inquest are making those? It looks badass. I love it. I hope I can get that as a ranger pet. Talking about pets all the time. That tree still looks epic in the background. This looks unbelievably slow and lame. This looks so low impact and rinky-dink. Look at this. Ping! Ping, ping! Ping, ping! Oh, we summoned one. Ping! I mean, the spirits do look really fancy. So maybe it's okay that the auto is quite understated. Looks like we got Aegis from something there, by the way. We're getting Aegis from Ritualist. That looks like the lingering effect or something, maybe? We've definitely provided support to that guy. And that's fun on a Necro. Aegis for Necro. And then we have the Paragon. Maybe I'm wrong about it, but it does feel like the mechanic just, like, it will look good. The real question is if the spirits move. It looks like they don't, and I think that's correct. Shibarito, I don't know what you typed that. Do you want them to move? They shouldn't move, in my opinion. As soon as the spirits move, they're effectively minions, or pets, or whatever, or, you know, summoned ability. As in, like, you know, like an ogre pet whistle or something. They lose their identity. They need to be stationary. That's the thing. Yes, Guild Wars 1, you had the escape valve of summon spirits where you could yank them towards you. Maybe we'll see a tool like that. Maybe on exiting Shroud, they port to your location or something. Before dying. I don't know. This thing where we're stuck in Shroud. You don't have spirits if you're not in Shroud. I think is going to feel rough. Shame you missed my opinion on the thief spec. What are my thoughts in one sentence? And you know, 90% of this has been about the thief spec. It looks a bit messy to me. If they don't move, they're essentially turrets. Yeah, I acknowledge that. But with a very different vibe. Turrets used to have press F to pick up and reconstruct somewhere else quicker. And they used to have interesting overloads, and they have the tool belt and that, which spirits don't necessarily have any of. Turrets were also all very distinct. You know, a flame turret works very, very, very differently to a net turret. And the bald Paragon without the helmet for the icon on the winged helm. Well, what's happened with the Paragon here is this is the Sun Spear outfit from Path of Fire pre-orders. So again, it looks like the trailer maker has done their homework and has said, "Okay, I'm gonna try and make the characters fit the bill." Oh, Natalie is a woman now, so she won't look exactly like this. But this is that's why it's not got anything. If I type Sun Spear. I mean, you might actually say it's a bit cheeky putting that in the trailer, since this was pre-order for POF, a different expansion. Wow, look how long it's taking to load the outfit. That's crazy. It's this, right? And oh yeah, there is a helmet. I don't know why they have the helmet toggled off. I don't know why they have the helmet toggled off. By the way, I like how it had that comment in there. The skill will give a speed buff. I was thinking to myself, wow, is that like an epic speed buff? A really good one? Why have they phrased it that way? But I guess what it is they don't want to say swiftness or super speed, because later balance might change the specific thing. So they kept it generic, so it doesn't become inaccurate. But I believe that's what we're looking at there. Yeah. Which is also why, as it happens, it doesn't look that good. Because, to be honest, this was never the greatest outfit, was it? The kind of shit you get from outfits in the game usually are really, really good. But yeah. WP, the Virtuoso trailer used the Tengu Echo weapons from the Icebreed Saga, so not using unique specialization weapons doesn't mean that they won't exist. Oh, that's awesome, Tokavian. Nice. Brilliant sleuthing there. Well done, man. That's excellent. Yeah, okay, so let's not read into it too much. Hopefully we will get the full... It's just, I'm not saying it to try and be a downer. I'm saying it just because, you know, it's a mini X-Pack, and you never know. I'm amazed we're getting elite specs at all. You never know what corners have to be cut, right? So that's the only reason that I'm somewhat thinking about it. It's not that I'm trying to be a downer. You know, maybe I need to learn to have a bit of faith. What's this about a permanent shroud? They could have a permanent shroud in the traits, maybe similar to the Gale Shot. Oh, Gale Shot is by far and away my favorite right now. Paragon beneath that. Ritualist beneath that, and then, I don't know, the other two can fight to the death. I really think Luminary looks bad. I hope Arenanet's focusing for Guild Wars 3 because this expansion brought zero hype. It's funny, actually, because a lot of people are hyped for this expansion. I'm usually about the same level for all of them. A lot of people are hyped for this expansion that I didn't expect to be. And then some other people say they're not. I think it just depends where you are in life and whether you're really into the game and all that at this point. But yeah, I'm sure they're making another game. Necro will lose all of their utilities and Shroud. Yeah, but you'll keep the minions, right? which is why I'm sort of saying... I don't like that for some reason. I don't like being a spirit minion hybrid. Well, I do like it, but I want to have a pure minion choice or a pure spirit choice. And there's not a pure spirit choice, as far as I can make out. And that makes me quite sad. But there would never be. There would never be that. Unless they put binding rituals on the utility skills too. And the fact they go away when you leave Shroud makes them feel... I don't know. It's not going to feel like Guild Wars 1 Writ. They launched Secrets of the Obscure and Janthir Wilds were really good. It's just the post patches where it's fallen off for me. Yeah, what I'll say is all of the Secrets of the Obscure post patches were a bit rough. I mean, the very first Nyos one was borderline, but you never knew, right? Because we just got there. The new characters hadn't become boring or forgetful. The setting hadn't become boring or forgetful. The terrible writing around Paether and stuff hadn't manifested. So I would say for Secrets of the Obscure, the first patch was alright, borderline, and then all the rest were terrible. For Janthir Wilds, I think all the post patches were really good until the last bit of the last one, where it went out with a real limp dick syndrome. So, you know, they're improving, I think. There is an upward trend. I think it's unfair to condemn all of Janthir Wilds just because of recency bias regarding the Foundry of Failed Creations. I think we need to get over that and accept and look at the fact that overall Janthir Wilds was an improvement. In terms of like storytelling, I don't know if it was an improvement. It was in some ways, but it was a big step back in others. So, mixed bag. And I want to believe in an improvement as time goes forward, as the machine becomes well oiled. I'm a big believer, where the game industry is concerned, in studios that make small iterations and continue producing year on year on. I think they do get better. I think when you look at like a lot of Golden Age studios during the PlayStation 1 era, where they were cranking out like yearly RPGs, FF's a very good example, obviously. These people became masters of their craft. They became really, really, really good at it. And it was only as development slowed down and, you know, the pursuit of graphics and visual fidelity and all this shit, and the projects got too big and the management got all tangled up, that a lot of these studios start falling off because there's too many years between each product. And expertise does not accumulate. It just slips through the cracks. And that's a problem for a lot of studios in this industry as of the past 15 years. And what Arenanet's saying with mini X-Packs is they're saying, no, we're doing it Golden Age style. And I do believe that they'll incrementally get better. I do. That's my hope anyway. Even keel. They made a plan with mini X-Packs. Let's see them stick it out. That's what I think. You personally didn't mind the bears talking? Me neither. I thought they were alright. And I think that Lowland Shore was really pretty with the rivers and stuff. And the bees could have been emphasized a bit more, maybe. The only issue was Stoic Alder trauma dumping on us with slow poems too quickly. But again, that's not really a criticism of the new Coden. That's a criticism of the writing team, I think, and characterization. Similar issues came up between Anise and Livia later, Isgaran and Waiting Sorrow. They were all written awfully, horrendous, at specific moments. I think the Yagon patch was very good for Isgaran, though. You wanted Dervish more than anything? Well, again, Sam Storm, it's very human-centric. You justify to me a Norn channeling the human gods, or even the humans channeling the human gods, without fucking with the status quo in the lore. And I think they're a bit leery about that because probably a lot of those hooks are going into Guild Wars 3. I don't think it will happen. Writing aside, you felt all the voice actors did great work in Janthir and Secrets of the Obscure? I don't really have any opinion on the voice talent. Sorry. Like, none. No opinions at all. I don't think they have the material to work with. And the strike bagged down this year as well, of course. A lot of says needs to go to bed. Yeah, okay, guys. I think that is going to be it for today. Because we're now rambling about stuff that's not to do with the reveal. Thank you to everyone who made it to this live stream. anyone who supported the channel, can I just say, we got Emily, became a channel sponsor, Aaron earlier. Thank you so much for becoming a member. You get a cool icon in chat. I will be making members-only videos at some point, and trust me, you'll unlock that whole back catalogue. Equally, you can get them on Patreon too, where I get a bigger cut. So, look, all the links are in the description. If you're going to buy the expansion, please feel free to click that link that's in the description. It gives me a kickback. It's amazingly useful and helpful. Cograth gifted some memberships. Thank you. John Sellers gifted some memberships. Alodis did as well. You guys have been very, very generous. I'm pretty sure there weren't any donations and I didn't miss them. Please let me know if you did. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming for these live videos. I'll be over checking the comments in the main official one that I'll produce in a minute. And yeah, I don't know whether I'll do coverage of tomorrow's stream. I don't know whether I'm going to have that much meaningful to talk about. Maybe. We'll see. So we'll see what happens. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you all have a good evening. I know it's been later today. And take care of yourselves, guys. I'll be over in Discord if you want to get me attention on anything. Thanks, guys. See you next time.